Talk about Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers. I feel like the Los Angeles Clippers are the most dangerous team in the NBA playoffs this year, out of the Western and the Eastern Conference. I'm going to tell you why. It starts off with Kawhi Leonard. We have not seen a healthy Kawhi Leonard in a very long time. So a lot of people forget that this is the same player that went out there against the Golden State Warriors. And we could talk about the fact that Klay Thompson went down and Kevin Durant went down. He still had a great performance in the NBA Finals. He helped bring Toronto their first championship and their only championship as I record this video. With the San Antonio Spurs, year in and year out, he was one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Hell, you can make the case that he was the best two-way player in the NBA because his defense was so great at that time. But he has ran into a lot of bad luck over the last 3 to 4 years. Basically, when he got injured against the Golden State Warriors, Zaza Pachulia injured his leg. He hasn't been the same player in terms of being healthy. But when he is on the court, he is still one of the best players in the league. We really don't focus in on Kawhi Leonard that much because of his injuries. But when he is on the court, he's dynamic as hell. He only played 37 games this year, but he's been able to play back-to-back games for the first time in a very long time. And you look at his numbers over the last month. He's averaging 27 points per game, 7 rebounds. He only missed 2 games in the last month. And they're 13-1 during the span. And they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. And we can say that they are facing weaker competition like the Dallas Mavericks, like the Sacramento Kings. You can't help who you play. And even when Kawhi Leonard was out rehabbing from his injuries, the Clippers were still a top 5 team in the Western Conference, the toughest conference in the NBA. That is how special they have been. But anytime I look at Kawhi Leonard and he's fully healthy in the playoffs, you have to give him a chance to get to the Western Conference Finals, or even when he was in the Eastern Conference, give him a chance to get his teams to the Eastern Conference Finals because his defense is still amazing. He is still one of the best defenders in basketball right now, especially on the perimeter. Look at what he did against the Golden State Warriors. They went in overtime in that game. And if you're questioning the Clippers, can they go out there and can they defeat elite level competition? They can. I think they match up very well with every single team in the playoffs right now in the Western Conference. From OKC, the Houston Rockets, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Denver Nuggets, who they will face in the first round. But it starts off with Kawhi Leonard because he has that experience. And when you really take a deeper look at Kawhi, he's posted some of the best games in playoff history. He's a definition of a closer, and he's a definition of being one of the most clutch players in the NBA also. But it's more than just Kawhi Leonard. Tyronn Lue has gotten the most out of this team. He's one of the best head coaches that you can have. He's a way better head coach than Doc Rivers was with the Clippers. And I know the notion, the Clippers run to bad luck in the playoffs, but this just feels different. Because in the past, you were basically hoping that Kawhi Leonard could stay fully healthy. And when Kawhi Leonard was not fully healthy, you had Paul George, who was shooting you out of basketball games in the playoffs. Paul George is a bad postseason player. The field goal percentage is down. The scoring is down, and he's not going to go out there and facilitate and run your offense. That's how bad Paul George is. But they did want to bring Paul George back. He wanted more money. They let him go. By letting him go, you could bring in some more pieces to this organization, and it helped Norman Powell elevate his game. Norman Powell should have been an all-star this season. When you look at Norman Powell and his numbers this year, career high in numbers, 22 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 48% from the field. But this is the biggest thing here. He's shooting 42% from 3. In the last 10 games, he's shooting 43% from 3. And the 3-point shot with James Harden, Norman Powell, and Kawhi Leonard over the last 10 games, they're all over 40%. They have been hitting their threes. And what it has basically done, Zubac has benefited from that. Even when Kawhi Leonard has been out of the lineup, that pick and roll with James Harden and Zubac is one of the best two-man game pick and rolls in the NBA because Zubac can just roll to the rim. And he's been finishing at the rim at a high rate this year, and he's been playing very good defense. Now he has his work cut out for him with Jokic. But if I'm the Clippers, I'm going to do what the Lakers did 2 months ago. I'm going to rotate bodies, put a lot of bodies on Jokic, and force other players around him to beat us. If Jamal Murray is able to play, that's even better. That's why you brought in a player like Chris Dunn, who is a phenomenal defender and is the definition of a 3-and-D guard. He can get into the face of Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray is a very good basketball player, but look at what the Timberwolves did to him last year in the postseason. You press him up full court, you get him frustrated, you can get him out of the game. I don't trust Michael Porter Jr. I look at Aaron Gordon. He's a very good basketball player, but you have Kawhi Leonard out there to help out with that. And you have Norman Powell, who is also a solid defender. They have length and they have very good three-point shooters on this roster. Amir Coffey, the same. Solid three-point shooter, solid defender. Bogdan Bogdanovic, very good three-point shooter. Now, over the last 4 games, it's disappeared. But we've seen him in the past, especially in the playoffs. He has been a clutch three-point shooter down the stretch. And then you have Derrick Jones Jr., who played an essential role with the Dallas Mavericks last season in terms of helping them get to the NBA Finals. He can get to the rim. He's a very good slasher, averaging 10 points a game, 4 rebounds, and he's averaging an assist. But he's very efficient from the field. He is known for being a lob threat, which James Harden loves to throw his lobs. He can also run the 2-man game with James Harden, and it's his switchability with Kawhi Leonard. You run both of those players on the court. Look at all the length that you have now and all the speed that you can have on the perimeter to attack guards like Stephen Curry, to attack guards like Luka, and the same with LeBron James. This could be an annoying team for a lot of teams in the playoffs this year. And for the ones that want to know, the teams that I have making it out of their conference, or the ones I give the highest chance to, would be the Houston Rockets, OKC Thunder, Lakers, and Clippers. Those are the big 4 in this conference. And that's no disrespect towards Denver. And they just fired their head coach. I trust that Coach Lue is going to go out there and outcoach the interim head coach right now for the Denver Nuggets. Then the Clippers get into the second round. It'll be smooth sailing from there for them. Especially if they go into a series one of the younger teams in the playoffs. I'm talking about OKC or the Houston Rockets. They have the veteranship with Zubac, with James Harden, with Kawhi Leonard. They've been here before, and Derrick Jones. Tyronn Lue is the same coach that helped LeBron James overcome that 3-1 lead against the Golden State Warriors. We can talk about the fact how Draymond Green got suspended in that series. But at the same time, Tyronn Lue is a phenomenal coach. We've seen this over the last few years with the Clippers. A lot of players, they love him. A lot of the defensive sets that he loves to run are great. And we've seen them go against the Denver Nuggets in the past. And what is one thing that he does? He isolates Jokic over and over again. And it's Jokic. He's going to go out there. He's going to get his 30 or 40 points a game, especially in the playoffs. But I found something very interesting. Whenever Jokic scores a lot of points for the Denver Nuggets, more times than not, they're going to lose. And if you don't believe me, look at the game against the Miami Heat in the finals. He scored a lot of points. They lost that matchup. We saw Jokic last year against the Timberwolves. He was scoring a lot of points. They still lost that matchup because you have to force the other players around him to step up. And when you can put that defensive pressure on them because they don't have the depth that the Clippers have, you can get away with a lot of things that the Denver Nuggets can't get away with. And you can tire out Jokic. When they pull their starters, it's a significant drop in their bench production than it is with the Los Angeles Clippers. And that was a byproduct of basically letting Paul George go to the Philadelphia 76ers. It was a blessing in disguise. And I'm not the biggest Paul George fan. I hated that they traded SGA for Paul George to begin with. But at least we get to see a healthy Kawhi Leonard with James Harden. And for the numbers here with James Harden, he's still one of the best scorers. 23 points a game. 6 rebounds, 8 assists. He's going to run your offense down to the T. He's a definition of being a coach player in terms of being a point guard. Going out there and getting everyone involved. In pick and roll, certain sets, he'll drive to the rim. He'll kick it out at the last minute. The no-look passes. He still plays like he's prime James Harden. He's not as efficient as he was with the Houston Rockets because he got to the free throw line a lot, but he can still take over a game. Look at what he did against the Golden State Warriors in that matchup when they went into overtime. He had 39 points. He took over in the second half of the game. And don't give Kawhi Leonard too much blame for that because Kawhi Leonard also went out there and he had 33 points in that matchup. And I'm saying don't give Kawhi Leonard blame to why they went into overtime. They went to overtime because the Clippers played them tough. And the Golden State Warriors were a red-hot team with Jimmy Butler. And you had to win that matchup because if you didn't, you would go and you'll be in the play-in tournament. And you don't want Kawhi Leonard to play more games than he has to. Because at that point in time, you're just basically knocking on wood and you're saying, hey, can his body hold up? We put more mileage on him. Will he be able to play more games as we progress on. And I also look at it from this standpoint. If you worry about Kawhi Leonard playing back-to-back nights, that's not going to happen in the NBA playoffs. Anytime it's a healthy Kawhi Leonard with any team, I'm very cautious of it because what he has done in the past. And we've seen him with the Los Angeles Clippers when he's been able to be fully healthy. We saw what he did against the Dallas Mavericks and against Luka in the bubble. So we have seen Kawhi Leonard just a couple of years ago go out there and still be dominant. He just has to stay healthy. That's it. And that's a big if with Kawhi. But the fact that he's been able to play these last 2 to 3 months with little to no restrictions says a lot about his health right now. And I'm happy that the Clippers let him fully heal up in the first half of the season. And I also look at it from this standpoint, the fact that the Clippers were able to keep their head above water and Kawhi Leonard was out recovering from his injuries says a lot about the talent and the depth that they have. This is the best the Clippers have looked in a very long time. Even when they had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they didn't look this good. They are a complete basketball team, and I'm taking them over the Denver Nuggets in 6 games. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Los Angeles Clippers, and can they make a deep playoff run this year? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.